The 20th annual Arizona Fine Art EXPO begins today, and we are so honored to have acrylic portrait painter Gina Robato here in studio to talk about the expo and her work. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So let's first start by talking about the expo. I know this is the 20th year. That's incredible.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about what people are going to see when they come out.
Well, there's 75 artists, and it's in a tent off of North Scottsdale Road near Jomax, and it's the 20th year they've had this show going on, and this is actually my first year participating.
Oh, wow.
So I'm super excited. I've come up every year and walked through and just had this vision of myself participating, and so finally I'm getting my dreams come true, and I'm up there with all these great, amazing artists. There's sculptures, there's jewelry, there's obviously paintings, and it's great.
A wide array,
yeah.
A huge variation of different kinds of art, different visual experiences that people can have when they come.
Absolutely.
And what else is great is that it's not just a feast for the eyes, it's also a feast for other senses, because I know that there are some wine tastings going on. There's going to be some food as well. Yeah,
there's a garden party, there's wine tasting, there's music, food. Yeah, it's open 10 to 6 every day for 10 weeks. It starts today
and goes until March.
March 24th.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like not just a great time to come in and, you know, I always feel like when I walk through a gallery or when I'm looking at art, it makes me feel smarter. But this is a great way to come and kind of enhance your visual senses and all of the senses. It's a feast for all of the senses combined.
Absolutely, yes.
And it's right up there in North Scottsdale, like you said.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your personal story, because you have such an amazing story about how you went from being a muralist and now doing more portrait style. Tell everybody about how you kind of journeyed through that.
Yeah. So I always had a passion and a love for portrait art, but I'd been a mural artist, started 30 years actually in the industry, and I moved here 20 years ago. But about 7-8 years ago, I injured my ankle, I broke it, and ended up having to be on bed rest and couldn't work and obviously couldn't do murals. So I painted my first portrait actually in bed, just like Frida Kahlo. So that was my connection to her. And that's where the love began, and I kind of just wanted to do that afterwards, and really into expressionism and vibrant colors and different things, and it just kind of grew from there.
And this is so incredible. All three of these pieces that you have here today are very unique, very different. And what is so cool about acrylic? I mean, as someone who is not a visual artist myself, tell me a little bit about working with acrylic.
So acrylic, it was easier for me to transition from, because I was using acrylic and latex paints on my murals.
Okay.
And so I've never really dove into oils, but I do use mediums that I add to the acrylic paint, and so it works like an oil and extends the drying time and all that. So, so yeah, that's the reason I chose acrylic. But a lot of portrait artists work with oils too.
Yeah, so I love that there's different mediums that you can kind of get into, and it gives you a different product. But something that you were just telling me about this piece right here is that it's not quite finished.
It's not finished,
Okay, so we're going to work on this a little bit today, yeah?
We are.
Okay.
You're going to help me?
I'm totally down. I don't promise that it'll be good, because like I said, I'm not at all a visual artist. But yeah, tell me about this piece and what makes it unfinished.
Well, with abstract pieces, and it's just pretty much, you know, I love vibrant colors, like I said, bold brush strokes. I love to see texture. I use glazes. I use tons of different tools and things. I use my hands.
So what would you add to this piece?
Sometimes, you know, I don't always know. It's not like there's
if you want to grab a brush and show us what you would, and if you want, here, let me toss this. I'd love to add something to it as well.
Let's give you the spatula.
Okay. Ooh.
And let's give you some black.
Okay.
Bold. We're getting bold here.
Black.
Okay.
Okay, so I see that you've kind of just got like black added in here. So if I were to take the spatula, do I spread it?
You spread it, just like you're icing a cake, or there you go. There you go.
Okay. Hopefully I didn't ruin it.
No.
What would you add?
If I was doing this, I feel like there is actually, you know, we think about composition and stuff even with abstract, but I probably at this point would start using my fingers, because I love to see bold marks on the, and so maybe just, you know, coming in here and adding some
very cool,
very different, you know, little shapes and figures. And it's cool because when you're done, you kind of step back and you start to see these things emerge. That, like, oh, that kind of looks like they were just talking about a face. So I was like,
well,
oh, yeah.
Well, you could see this kind of art and many more things at the Art Expo that is obviously starting today and going until March. So definitely go check that out. We have the website right there on the screen. All right, Gina, thank you so much for being here. Stick around, guys. We got more of The Mix coming up after this.